Okay, so by court, it means the judge is talking. It is noted that the witness, when asked questions, does not answer the questions put to him. Repeat the question for the witness to answer. So Godfrey Dame says, the question is, do you know whether any contract for 50 ambulances were signed before the LC were authorized to be established by the Ministry of Finance? And the Honorable Terkper said, it is not my recollection that this was done, but I had confidence in the Attorney General and in my own staff who requested that we should establish the LC to avoid defaults. Okay. So the witness then comes in. My lady, I have found the document which the Attorney General was asking me in relation to the 50 ambulances. The issue here raised by the Attorney General is whether the LC conforms with the agreement, and witness reads. The letter which the then Deputy Minister Adom-Otchere wrote addresses this issue, and it is marked Exhibit A. The LC request was specific. Okay, now let's move on to the next, the continuation. Now, it continues here. Now, this is Godfrey Dame speaking. We're just about to end. Let's see how many slides we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we have 6 more slides to go. So we'll be wrapping up soon. Very, very interesting, isn't it? All right. The Godfrey Dame says, it is your case that the payment for the ambulances was made in error. Question. The question is, it's a suggestion. That's how the lawyers do it. It is your case that the payment for the ambulances was made in error. Seth Terkper says, yes, but noting that major conditions in the contract had been breached and attention had been drawn to it by the Attorney General. Wow, let me read the Seth Terkper answer again. It says, yes, but noting, yes, that it is the case that some payment was made in error. It says, yes, but noting that major conditions in the contract had been breached and attention had been drawn to it by the Attorney General. Okay, we continue. Godfrey Dame says, the loan agreement mentioned in Exhibit A is the Stanbic loan facility that had been approved by Parliament as payment for the ambulances. Is that correct? The Terkper says that is correct. Godfrey Dame says, you see, that Honorable Adom-Otchere authorized payment out of the Ministry of Health account. Is that not correct? Seth Terkper says, it is correct. And that is what I just explained, that we took a decision to charge the Ministry of Health budget. Godfrey Dame continues. And that authorization was contrary to the means of payment that had been approved by Parliament, which is the Stanbic Bank facility. Is that not correct? Seth Terkper says, it may look contrary on the face of it, but it is important to understand the principle that all loans include, to understand the principle that all loans, including the LC, are ultimately charged to the capital budget of the ministry. Godfrey Dame comes back. This principle applies only when the loan has been disbursed by the bank, which is not the case here. Godfrey Dame says this principle applies only when the loan has been disbursed by the bank, which is not the case here. Seth Terkper says, I have already pointed out that the loan lapsed. We attempted to reactivate it, but it was not possible. And it is clear, and we have stated in paragraph 4, that Comptroller and Accountant General's Department, that the BOG was to charge the LC against the budget of the Ministry of Health. That's what Seth Terkper says. Godfrey Dame says, so, in this situation, did the principle that you stated, that loans are charged to the account of a ministry, apply here, since there was no loan? Then Seth Terkper says, no, my lady, speaking to the judge, there was no loan and we could not reactivate the loan. I want to reiterate that there was no loan, and that was why we took the earlier decision that the LC would be charged against the capital budget of the Ministry of Health. And so the last paragraph of the letter under reference says that the CD equivalent of the LC, when mature, and other related charges should be debited to the Ministry of Finance accounts. Ofredami then says, are you aware that payment was made pursuant to the letter written by Honorable Adom-Otchere before the ambulances were shipped from Dubai? Seth Terkper says, it is not my recollection, but that would have been the responsibility of the Ministry of Health to instruct BOG to make the payment. Then Godfrey says, is it not the case that when Ministry of Finance is making payment pursuant to a contract, the Ministry of Finance ought to satisfy itself that the terms of the contract have been fulfilled before proceeding to make payments? Honorable Seth Terkper says, that is the case. But as I stated earlier, the ministry's responsibility is to establish LC and the sector ministry to make sure that the payment meets the conditions specified in the contract. Is that all? Well, I'm waiting. Are they paying attention? Okay, we continue. That's all? Okay, so let me do the last page again. From here it says, are you aware, the last one, are you aware that payment was made pursuant to the letter written by the Honorable Adom-Otchere before the ambulances were shipped from Dubai? Okay, he says, it is not my recollection, but that would have been the responsibility of the Ministry of Health to instruct BOG to make the payment. Then he says, is it not the case that when MOF's Ministry of Finance is making payment pursuant to a contract, the Ministry of Finance ought to satisfy itself that the terms of the contract have been fulfilled before proceeding to make payment? Seth Terkper says that is the case. But as I stated earlier, the ministry's responsibility is to establish the LC and the sector ministry to make sure that the payment meets the conditions specified in the contract.